Welcome to the consumer purchasing decision-making process. In this mini module, we'll learn more about the consumer purchasing decision-making process and why it is so important to our role in the marketing department. Now, the consumer decision-making process is outlined in a very linear fashion, kind of a step-by-step approach within our textbook. I'm going to show you an alternate model within this module introduction, just to get you thinking in terms of a marketing funnel, a standard foundational practice in the world of marketing that I wanted to introduce here. While we may never know why consumers purchase, we do begin to understand how they move through the purchasing process. Now, this begins with awareness of a need or a problem to be solved. Quite simply, a recognition of something that is needed. In a low involvement decision, you could be low on toothpaste, so you simply know, I need to go buy toothpaste. However, in a high involvement decision, maybe it is an outside societal influence. Maybe it's something you're like, I'm ready for a new home. Our family is growing. This is something of interest. Or maybe you're downsizing and want something smaller. So these little needs or awareness moments help perk your interest to make a purchasing decision. From there, consumers move through the 5-step process outlined, assuming they move through each step. Now, a low involvement decision often jumps straight to the purchase point because it's something that is remembered, it's tried and true, you've bought it before, and there's no need to do an information search. Brand switching is relatively low in a low involvement decision, meaning if you've bought Colgate your entire life, you're probably going to go buy Colgate. It would have to be a huge influence in the world of marketing, something that really piques your interest to make you move away from the Colgate brand. For the nature of the discussion, let's think about mid to high involvement decisions. So looking at anything from high-end clothing through a vehicle, home, life insurance. So as consumers move through the purchasing decision-making process, there is a need recognition or an awareness. From there, they move into information search, gathering the educational and knowledge-based components to make an informed purchasing decision. At this point, they develop a subset or a series of products that they would like to narrow down their choices. That is where we fall in the evaluation alternatives. Ultimately, they move into the purchasing process and then, of course, post-purchase evaluation. But let's look at this in a different model as we look at the marketing funnel. In the marketing funnel, we follow the same steps of the purchasing decision process. We put it in a top-down funnel mindset with the purchase decision point being right here at the cusp of the funnel. When we start to look at the funnel, remember a funnel is liquid in, liquid out, but it siphons it into a narrow exit point, meaning we're narrowing our consumer set. So when we start to think about the funnel, think of consumers in. So potential buyers coming into the funnel based upon the marketing information put in front of them. Now at the top of the funnel, we have awareness. Remember, the customer has a need or there is awareness of a product or service. Maybe you rolled out an ad for the latest Doritos flavor during the Super Bowl and it generated customer awareness and interest to purchase. Maybe you're a product or a vehicle manufacturer and you're in the mid-size SUV market and you put forth the most beautiful advertisement during this Super Bowl event of a beautiful SUV driving through the landscape, happy family, so excited to buy. You told us very little about the features and benefits, but you generated awareness of this new product offering or this model. Now, as the consumer moves through the funnel, the second step in the decision-making process is the actual information search. Now, in the example of the midsize SUV I shared with you before, in the information search, the customer may then go to the website. So let's take Ford, for example. So I go to the Ford website to look at the variety of offerings that Ford has within the midsize SUV lineup. I look at the Explorer and I see that they have the XLT, they have the ST, and they have all of these different makes and models under that subset. I do my research. I may go to Car and Driver. I'm a big nerd, so I may go to Consumer Reports to see where they fall within the safety ratings, lifetime maintenance, and all of that. But while visiting Consumer Reports, I see that the Grand Highlander, the Toyota Grand Highlander, the Lincoln Aviator, and the Honda Pilot all are similar mid-size models. So at that point, I may research other options to develop what we call the consideration set. And in the consideration model, I'm looking at that subset that I developed. And I'm comparing makes and models. And at this point, I may ultimately go to the dealerships to test drive. So think now I'm moving from TV advertisement to website to outside publications and resources, ultimately coming to the dealership to work with the one-on-one personal sales team on site to help me make my purchasing decision. Now keep in mind that at any point I can decide not to purchase. So while I may decide that the Ford Explorer ST is the model for me, that is the car I want, it's going to meet all of my needs, wants, and desires, it is a great fit, I may ultimately decide the price point isn't something I want to consider. So I could pop out of the funnel. No, I may not. I may move through the funnel, but it's important to remember that consumers can pop out of the funnel at any moment, even with the best marketing strategy in play. But let's say, I stay within the funnel and I continue to move through and I purchase, right? I have made my purchase. I have decided to buy. It is the be-all, say-all moment that we work for in marketing. It's the actual exchange or the conversion. But guess what? Something else happens. After that purchase, we have what we call let me put it here, post-purchase behaviors. Right? This could be the buyer's remorse. When you buy something and you're so excited to get it and it arrives too early or it isn't exactly what you thought it would be and you have that feeling in your stomach of, oh, this isn't what I intended. Or maybe you get an email from the dealership saying, hey, thank you for purchasing this vehicle. We're going to offer your first service for free. Come try our service department. Additional products and services, right? So that post-purchase decision making has so much opportunity for both the consumer to continue to engage with the brand and also for the business. So as you look at the consumer purchasing decision making process, whether you use the textbook linear example or you move throughout the marketing funnel, it's important to note that the needs, channels, and messages communicated with the customers will differ depending upon the level of involvement, as well as the stage in the consumer decision-making process. So let's dig a little bit deeper into consumer purchasing decisions and consumer behaviors as we start to look at market segmentation in more detail. Continue through this module to learn more about the consumer purchasing decision process and consumer buying behaviors.